Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here joining me today. I know a lot of you, or actually all of you, are probably stuck at home now, suddenly stuck at home, or you've been stuck at home for a couple weeks or a few weeks at this time, and this is a little late getting to you. But um, after all of the people, um, as this pandemic just continues, after the people who are really suffering, I thought of you guys who are at home with either kids who have special needs or kids who are autistic, because I know that this has been a big change for you. So my son, Jeremiah, he's 10 years old, and he has nonverbal autism. We took him out of public school at the beginning of the year. Actually, at the beginning of the year, we started homeschooling. And he had been in public school until he was in third grade, and he started in preschool. So this, I'm kind of feeling where you're at in a little bit, but not completely because it wasn't so suddenly, which is kind of the clicker. I wanted to help you guys who are in this situation, because our lives have been flipped upside down. Some of you are dealing with the more serious side of this pandemic. Maybe you're not able to visit friends or family who are in the hospital, or gather together with family for special events. And then there's some people who are dealing with the lesser side of it. Maybe can't get your hair cut or colored. um, and if our habits and our routines have changed this drastically, just think of it. Think of what it's like for our kids who really strive on a routine. They're used to going to school 4 to 5 days a week. If you're not homeschooling already, they are used to going to therapy. That is, for some of you, that's like 2 to 3 times a week. They're not used to going to the same store every Friday and visiting their favorite Lego guy. So, and even when your child is out of school, oftentimes you have them in day programs or summer school. So this is really throwing for them for a loop. And I don't know anyone that wants to go on that loop amusement ride, that loopy amusement ride that you probably feel like you're on right now, except that you're not laughing and you're not smiling. So right now, our goal is to create peace in our home. I have another part of this that I want to talk to you guys about, which is creating structure and a little routine. But I wanted to kind of make it into 2 videos because it got a little too long and I want it to be shorter and simpler. So let's start with peace. The first point is to understand that everyone around you is highly stressed. This pandemic is a traumatic experience for most of us. We have not experienced anything like this. I know everybody on the internet is saying this, but it's so true. Most of us have not experienced this situation in itself. Yes, we've been through things that are traumatic, but this situation is so different for many of us, and especially for our kids. We, and as special needs parents, we are a little more stressed than everyone else already. And so this kind of just piles on. So you guys, something that has really, that really helped me, is this great webinar that I came across by Josh MacNeil. He explains the trauma that we're dealing with for ourselves and for our kids and how they're acting, how we're acting. And it's really about how to help our kids and us. And you can find the video on bravewriter.com, and I'll link to this at the bottom of the video. It's called the Homebound Seminar, and it's free. And his webinar is called Brain Break Stress Relief. And he has some really good activities that can help get your children out of a funk or calm them down, and so much more. The second point is to give grace. Understanding that first part, that we are all stressed out, we're going to act differently, we're going to forget things that we normally forget, we're going to react strongly sometimes to something that we wouldn't normally. We need to give grace first to ourselves, and then we need to extend that to those around us. So for me, it means forgiving more. It means not correcting my children as much. It means that if I have given my daughter a task to do that and she hasn't done it, I don't follow up and ask her. Sometimes I'll just do it myself. And then you can also just realize where you're at, and you might want to change things based on that. The third point is to light a candle and have a family read aloud. You can also add some like classical music to that if your kids aren't going to like go nuclear on you, or some calming music that they might like. You can, so read aloud. This has really changed the atmosphere in our home. So being autistic, my son has liked things and then he won't like things. Like he'll have an interest and then that interest will wane, completely go away. Sometimes it will come back. And he used to really like looking through books over and over and over. And then he stopped doing that. And now he'll just look at the front of a book that has only Elmo on it. But so that had, subsided some. He did it a little bit in public school, but not very much. Like if other kids were reading like with him, then he was a little bit interested. But once I started reading aloud, both picture books, chapter books, and a third nonfiction books, he really became interested in those. And a lot of times Jeremiah makes noise consistently. And if I start reading, he'll usually quiet down, or if he's upset or crying, and I start to read, he'll quiet down, or I'll say, I'm going to start to read. Can you please be quiet? And then he will listen, and he really enjoys them. And our 12-year-old daughter, Peyton, she's going into 7th grade, and she really enjoys picture books too. She likes them and she likes to read them especially. And I recommend the Read Aloud Family by Sarah McKenzie if you would like, or you can check out her website, Read Aloud Revival. readaloudrevival.com, and I'll link to that too. Her information is really good. She has a lot of free stuff on her website that you can check out. She has lots of podcasts, lots of information, and just check her out, because reading aloud has made a huge difference for us and our family. And then she shares also like why they enjoy it and how it's just kind of been a revival for people. So my daughter also loves when we light a candle at the table. When we're doing schoolwork for homeschooling, we light a candle in the afternoon sometimes, and that also really changes the atmosphere. And she can tell that it changes it because she wants it lit. She gets really excited when I say, "Do you want to light the candle?" Yeah. The fourth point is to make time for yourself. I know this is really hard because you are at home, your kids are at home, you're at home all day with them, and you are saying, I cannot find time for myself. This is going to look different than when you probably had your time that you did before the pandemic, because everything's so different. We're all together. Our families are together. So you are the gauge of the peace in your home. This is determined mainly by the parents. Um, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. So whether you have time for yourself before your kids get up in the morning, maybe that's when it's best for you. That is not the best for me, because it would be the opposite of bringing peace to our home. And everybody says, no, mom, don't get up. Why are you getting up? Go to sleep. Or you might stay up past your child's bedtime, like I am right now, because you can tell it's dark out and I'm posting this during the day. So make time for yourself. Do what you need to do. Do something that's quiet, or do something that's relaxing to you. And then during the day, if you need a break, and you have a spouse or you have an older child who can help take care of your child who has special needs, or you can be at least within, hearing distance, you can put, or they can, come out and get you, so you can step outside. If another child is helping keep an eye on your child who has special needs, they can come and get you easily. You can step outside, you can put on like noise canceling headphones and go into another room, take a break, 15 minutes, and then you can come back and you can trade with that person that has been with your child, so that you have some time. Maybe you could extend it to 30 minutes. It depends on if, that's a spouse or a child, just depending on the ability of care they can give. So the fifth point is to use a calm voice. As I was working on this calm voice piece, I had literally written down, use a calm voice. And we had some construction workers who were working on our heating system. And one of the guys was like yelling at his coworkers. So he was yelling at them about what he had done. And so I was feeling pretty calm, then I wasn't. So I thought it was kind of funny that his timing was perfect. Amy McCready, a parenting coach at positiveparentingsolutions.com, suggests staying calm when you're about to lose your cool. Like, I know we all know that, but putting it into play is another thing. Sometimes we forget. So she says when we're frustrated, we tend to fall back on bad behaviors and we tend to act like our children. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute, because that doesn't sound cool. You're like, no, I don't. I've seen myself do it and I'm not proud of it. I will get upset, I'll raise my voice, and I will end up arguing, and it's not something that I want to do. So if you find yourself amped up, you will see your kids do the same. So I talked about you being the gauge of peace in your home. Or your kids may also do the opposite. If you are really stressed out or you raise your voice at them, they might just kind of like stay really calm just to see what you're going to do. So when I actually remember to do this, to keep my cool, it's really neat to see what happens with my kids, because it often brings them down a notch. When I stand close to Jeremiah and I talk to him quietly and I ask him to do something, or like stop biting your fingers, or do you need to change your show? Is it irritating you? A lot of times he will do what I'm asking him to do. But say he's outside and I yell at him from inside and I say, like, please don't throw sticks over the fence, or oranges over the fence. This is autism. So if I yell that, then he's not going to necessarily stop. He might even laugh at me, because he's like, oh, she's not going to do anything. He's a really smart kid. And he's developed a lot. He didn't used to be like that, but now he is developmentally at that point. So lowering my voice and speaking quietly does help. Amy also recommends focusing on your volume and your pace of voice. I've also been told this by our speech therapist, because when I get frustrated, I start to talk faster. And she's like, you just need to slow down and talk slower. So that can help. Speak with a smile. That has made a difference, because if you have a smile on your face, it's really hard to be so angry or upset or irritated and frustrated. So you can like put sticky notes around the house to remind yourself of this. Calm voice. You can like put wallpapers on your computer, in your phone, maybe like a calming beach scene or mountain scene. You can add a quote if that would help you, something to remind you. Okay, and the sixth thing is essential oils. All I have to say is they work. No, that's not really all I'm going to say. But so you can diffuse them. What I use is I diffuse Peace and Harmony by Now. You can just like, I think you can get it at Walmart. We got ours at Sprouts. You can get them on Amazon. That really helps Jeremiah a lot, diffusing them in the area where they are the most. And then I also use doTERRA's Serenity oil and their Balance essential oil on Jeremiah. I put it on his wrists, and I use both of those, and it helps him calm down. And I use doTERRA's Peace roll-on on myself. Different oils work for different people, but those are ones that work for us. So the Peace roll-on for myself. And I hope that those ideas can get you started for right now. And as you think about, as you're looking at homeschooling, you can take a break from schooling right now, because your kids are not going to learn if they're stressed out, they're really anxious. You are not going to be a good teacher if you're really stressed out and really anxious. I think the first thing that we need to do is kind of get a calm peacefulness in our home before you can even start doing any schooling. And a lot of you are like, I can't school, my kid has special needs, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I just want to tell you that I never saw myself homeschooling my kiddo. I did not think it would be possible. I don't have any degree in autism or like special ed. I don't have anything to help me, but I've been able to do it with God's help. And Jeremiah is doing better than he ever did in public school. So I just want to encourage you that maybe this is something that will just kind of encourage you. And so I really want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that you come and check out the next video that I post, because that one's going to talk about structure and routine and some ideas that you can get like moving in your daily life to help your kids. It will help them calm down. It will help them be more peaceful. So I hope to see you again. Thanks very much.